Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. All right guys, I'm back and I'm just going to pick up right from where I left off in the last video. The last video we looked at the Q post from yesterday, and today we're going to be looking at the Q post for Good Friday, April 10th. Now, I realize it's past midnight, so it's actually April 11th. Yesterday was Good Friday. Today is, I guess, Awful Saturday. So I don't know where that came from. All right, let's get started with the Q post and let's get on with this. All right. Now, again, picking up right from where I left off. Of course, I don't have anyone to thank because I thanked them in the last video, although I always have people to thank because I appreciate you guys very, very much. All right, so this is the first post from Good Friday, April 10th, and it's drop 3928, and it says, "Together we will win." Now, this is interesting. Let me show you this. Now, it's interesting that this is written in, I think, Farsi. Correct me if I'm wrong, but look at this. It's all written in, I think it's Farsi if I'm not mistaken, but and this is the video, and it's translated. Like, I just think this is awesome. There are Q patriots the world over. So really not much use in us looking at this because we don't know what it's saying, but apparently it's saying good things about Q. So yeah, this is very interesting. And let's go back because I think that's pretty self-explanatory. It just says, "Together we will win. Where we go one, we go all." Q. And now we are on to the next, and it is drop 3929. Patriots making date predictions are harming the movement and arming the mainstream media. That is very true. People have really made some of the kookiest things I've ever seen on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere else. So Q is warning us here to not make date predictions. It says, or Q says rather, "Patriots, be cautious in your interpretations of info posted. False expectations and push based on speculation will only weaponize those who attack us, the mainstream media. Why does the mainstream media expend resources daily attempting to discredit?" Why do you think? I think that it's very self-evident that if they weren't worried about this, if they really thought it was false, they wouldn't give it any time at all. They might mention it in passing, but not the way they do. I mean, and when somebody like an Austin Steinbart comes along that is clearly out of his mind, and people glom onto him like he's the real Q, I think probably, you know, most people just shake their heads because it's quite evident that the mainstream media will glom onto stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure that that was probably a psyop to begin with. I mean, sure, he's either just mentally ill and out of his mind, very, very high on himself, which I never really sensed from Q. I never sensed that sense of inflated self-importance, but certainly did from Austin Steinbart. And, you know, who knows? He might have been placed in there as psyop, or he might just be mentally ill, which is what I suspect, but could be a combination of both. Now, let's go down here, and it says, do you provide the playbook to the enemy with specific dates? Logical thinking. FISA indictments equals start, which means the start equals public justice. The justice will be public. These people are not going to be published behind the scenes. I think it's going to be public as far as it can be. And then he links to Webster Dictionary and the definition of start. I think we all know what the definition of start is, but let's take a look. And definition of start, entry 1 of 3, to move suddenly and violently. Spring, as in started angrily to his feet. To react with a sudden, brief, involuntary movement. He was started when a shot rang out. I'm sorry, this is very, very small print and I'm having a hard time reading it. To issue with sudden force, blood starting from the wound, not womb. We don't want blood coming from the womb. To come into being, activity, or operation. When does the movie start? The rain started up again. To protrude or seem to protrude, eyes starting from their sockets. I've never heard that expression ever. To become loosened or forced out of place, one of the planks has started. To begin a course of journey, started toward the door, just starting out. To range from a specific initial point, the rates start at. So I don't think we need to read all this because I think we all know what start means. FISA indictments is the start. That's when everything begins. So when we hear that there have been indictments due to the false FISAs, then we will know this is the start of public justice. And before then, I think we're doing everybody a disservice by naming dates. We don't know when that's going to be. We're hoping soon. Everyone's hoping soon, but we don't know when that is. So Q is just giving us a warning here that it actually harms the movement when we're doing things like that, because then the media will point to that and say, oh yeah, and Q said this was going to happen then, when really Q didn't say that at all. So yeah. All right. Now Q says future proofs past events unlock. So events are going to unlock what has been written and posted about in the past, as has always been the case. Think CEO departures. Think FBI departures. Think DOJ departures. Think state departures. Think DIA departures. Think Pentagon departures. Think Senate departures. Think House departures. Think ambassador departures. Think IG departures. Think judge install. Think Supreme Court install. Think FBI install. Think CIA install. Think U.S. Attorney install. Game theory. If you look, you can see. Q. True. Look at how many, all these things had to fall in place. And this was the most intricate plan I've ever seen, because all of this stuff had to take place with military precision. People had to go, people had to be installed, everything had to be cleaned out before the justice part, because how can you have justice if the whole justice system is broken and corrupt? You can't. So all of that had to happen beforehand, and we've seen it happen. We've seen enough to know that Q is not only real, but telling the truth. So this from Lisa Mae Crowley. I try to avoid definitively predicting events on specific dates. Too many false starts used against us. Today, 4, 10, 20 has many expecting something big. POTUS said yesterday there will be big news today, but it may not be what many think. FISA equals start. So that is what we are to look for. That's the marker. When these indictments happen over the FISA court and, all the missteps in that whole process and what happened, then we will know it has begun. All right. And this is a older post from July 28, 2018. And he said, this is by an anon. He said, no, the truth was not revealed yet. FISA didn't have much impact, to be honest, or there is still something missing to it, which reveals the whole truth. And Q said, FISA equals start. FISA equals immediate confirmation of illegal acts regarding signers. FISA equals immediate confirmation start of Hussein's spy campaign to rig an election was based on false info. FISA implicates Hillary Rodham Clinton and the Democrat Party as feeders of false info with the intent of securing mainstream media plus blast insurance. FISA implicates senior members of UK, MI5, MI6, SIS, US Intel, White House, Five Eye, Republican Party, Congress, Senate of known corruption in effort to retain power and rig election. Plus, safeguard events by political kill to act while in power, given mainstream media fake push Russian narrative. FISA ties the mainstream media heads, TV behind corporation to Democrat Party, other foreign heads of state in co-op strategy. FISA brings down the House. Freedom of Information Act does not include FISA. Declassed by POTUS, key parts that factually demonstrate the dirty fake dossier was used as primary source to secure highest level of intel, spying on primary Republican opponent, plus post-election intel assets for domestic spying on the President of the United States. For the office of the Presidency of the United States of America, logical thinking, public awareness, FISA / spying, foundation, built, Huber, no spelling errors intended, mobile, unknown if above. Now, he puts that when he may or may not have made a spelling error to let us know that, okay, if there's a spelling error here, it was just a typo because I'm on the move. But again, this was an old post, but it does show that FISA is the start. Okay, and this by Dio Presso Liber. I think Q addressing predictions of a big disclosure or unsealing of indictments today on 4/10/20. Or he says rather, I think Q is addressing predictions of a big disclosure on 4/10/20. Q has not specifically set dates as to when FISA indictments will be unsealed and when arrests will take place. It could be today. It could be next week. It could be a prediction. It could be predictions that are not fulfilled lead to fake news mocking the Q movement, and we know that's certainly true. Q reminds us to look at the evidence of everything that is happening: departures, firings of CEO, FBI, DOJ, State, White House, DIA, Pentagon, State, House, ambassadors, IG, and installation of judges, White House, DOJ, CIA, State, etc. The stage has to be set before the arrest could begin. If corrupt judges are left in place, the convictions of the deep state will fail. Game theory. Those who truly look will see. Those who refuse to look will never see. So true. So true. Now we are on to the next, and this is drop 3930 from the 10th of April, 3930. Trump coronavirus campaign ad features Joe Biden cheerleading for China. And he leaves this tweet, which is this right here, and he says, Happy Good Friday, Q. So let's look at this, and there's Joe Biden and Xi Jinping and having a glass of what looks to be champagne, and campaign ad features Joe Biden cheerleading for China during America's crisis. Biden protected China's feelings. Biden, it is not in our self-interest that China continue to prosper. Oh, I'm sorry. It is in our self-interest that China continue to prosper. So, yeah, Q pointing that out to us. And, come on. Computer's getting tired, like me. All right, and this from Lisa Mae Crowley. Nice, LLMCL alerted at Zeus fan house that POTUS retweeted him. Notice the Q hashtags in that tweet. POTUS tweeted, Happy Good Friday to all, and Q wished the same to at LLMCL in all caps. Would have been cool if it was signed Q+. Well, it would have been cool if it was signed Q+. And this is, all right. Anyway, let's go on now because we can and we should. And this is by Dio Presso Liber, Sun Q2 on Twitter. Happy Good Friday, 3 exclamation points. Q retweets Zeus Fanhouse post, the Breitbart article about Biden's desire to protect China during the China virus crisis in the USA. Yes, well, these people always show their true colors. And we're on to the next post, 3931. Evil has been allowed to flourish through all parts of our society. I don't think anybody would argue with that. And we've got a link here, which I believe, is right here. Be cautious in your interpretations of info posted. So glad he finally said this. I've been seeing the wacky conspiracies, number counting, etc. get way out of control. I agree totally. The movement is being discredited by the irrational speculation. Let's work with what we have. So Q has linked to that for us to peruse. And it says the credibility of our institutions, constitutional law that governs our great land, our republic, and our ability to regain the trust and faith of the American people all depend on our ability to restore equal justice under the law by prosecuting those responsible, using blind justice. Treasonous acts, sedition against the republic, the people of the United States, lead in, infiltration, rogue, at the highest levels of our government, media, corporations, etc., planned and coordinated. D/F. This is not about politics. Something far more sinister, evil, has been allowed to flourish through all parts of our society. This is domestic/foreign. Domestic, planned and coordinated by domestic and foreign entities. Something far more sinister, evil, has been allowed to flourish through all parts of our society. It has been protected and safeguarded. It has been camouflaged to appear as trusted. It has been projected, normalized by stars, classified 1 to 99. I've never known what that meant, to tell you the truth. One must only look to see. Symbolism will be their downfall. This is not another 4-year election. Thank goodness. Be on your guard. Stand firm in the faith. Be courageous. Be strong. You are not alone. We stand together. Q. Now, very, very good post there. And Lisa Mae Crowley says, something far more sinister, evil, has been allowed to flourish through all parts of our society. FISA indictment first will trigger mass population awakening. Rogue at the highest levels. Hussein, possibly. Treason, sedition, planned, coordinated. Domestics and foreign governments have been involved in this, as we already know. And this by Dio Presso Liber, Sun Q2 on Twitter. I hear collective sighs in Patriotville. I know we are all growing tired and impatient. The last month has taken its toll. I've heard people say, if I don't see something big this time, I'm jumping off the Q train. I empathize with this feeling. You will see them if you look. Their symbolism will be their downfall. By now, you know what to look for to determine whether a particular star is part of the Luciferian movement. They flash it in their videos, movies, music, and attire. We are in a spiritual battle against forces of evil. Do not lose heart. If you are discouraged, don't be. Look at the big picture. Don't get lost in the details of all the Q posts. Yes, there's a lot to analyze, and there is a lot we do not know. Ultimately, trust the Lord and trust the president. Trusting the Lord should always be at the top. Trust the president cautiously, because I don't give anybody blind trust. I don't think that that is wise by any stretch of the imagination. So that's just me. I do trust President Trump as far as what I've seen so far. but he's flesh and blood. He's a man. And not saying that in any way being disparaging against men. I mean, he's part of mankind. He's flesh and blood. So that is what I mean by that. I am not one of those women that cast dispersion on men, because I think that that is, again, part of an agenda which I don't agree with. So, all right, now 3932, that is the drop that we are on right now, 3932. Crossfire Hurricane Team had multiple reports disputing many material claims of the Steele dossier. Now, this is by Technofog and posted by an Anon. Declassification of IG report footnotes. Crossfire Hurricane Team had multiple reports disputing many material claims of Steele and his dossier and warning of disinformation. So, and I've just made it bigger over here because it's very hard to see. And down here, come on. Under that, of course, this link is to this. It says the public will learn the truth. The media will attempt to spin as a partisan attack. The House will push for Barr removal. The House will open investigations into Barr Durham. The House will open investigations into Barr Durham. Lack of confidence. They'll say that they have a lack of confidence in them, or that they are Trump lackeys, whatever. Full disclosure, D-Class provides truth. Foreign corroboration provides truth. What happens when the corporate media knowingly pushes false propaganda information? What happens when corporate media can no longer be trusted? Well, we're there, and we've been there for a long time. The silent war continues. Q. Now, this by Lisa Mae Crowley. She says, I'm guessing one or more of our Five Eye partners, UK, will be corroborating declassified disclosures of FISA abuse or SPIOP. Full disclosure, D-Class provides truth. Foreign corroboration provides truth. Assuming D-Class is unintentional. Oh, interesting. Yeah, he put Delcast is unintentional typo. Well, is it? I didn't even notice that. Where did he say that? Yeah, Delcast. That's interesting. It's funny how your mind just reads what you think it's supposed to say. I didn't even pick up on that. But let's just do a little Delcast. Hang on, I don't want to see me. There's a Delcast hotel. Where is this? There's a Delcast auto. I don't think that's it. But I don't know. Delcast hotel. Cuaba, state of Mato Grosso. Oh, Brazil. I think I need to do a little bit of investigating of that. It's cheap. It's only $57. $48. Well, too bad that there's a virus going on. I am so ready for a vacation out of Canada, really. I want to be in the States so bad. I'm so homesick for the States, and yeah, can't cross the border. Yeah, don't really want to get on a plane during this time either, but all right. Oh, hang on here. One more thing. Well, you know, I mean, you're here, so we might as well look into it. Okay, so there's the hotel, and don't know what else, but I think I'm going to have to spend some time looking into that, because generally, if Q makes a typo, he'll say typo not intended, on the move, or whatever. He hasn't corrected it. Now, tomorrow, he may realize and say, oh, better correct that. But he hasn't. So is there a double meaning there? I'm just wondering. It would be interesting. Yeah, I'm going to have to spend a little bit of time looking into that. And I'll tell you, I will definitely share with you whatever I find, if I find anything. And if I find nothing, I'll let you know that too. So let's go back now because, well, you know, I'm sure you'd like to finish this tonight. I know I would, even though I enjoy speaking with you all, always. So this by Lisa May Crowley. Okay, we read that, and let's go to Sun Q2. Gear up for a long, hot summer. This is why I believe most arrests, probably all arrests, will not take place until after the 2020 election. That is only his opinion. None of us know. So, but he is definitely welcome to his opinion. The D-class of the underlying FISA docs show the FISA abuse will lay the predicate for the unsealing of the indictments and arrests. The D-class of IG report footnotes will show Crossfire Hurricane team had multiple reports disputing material claims of Steele in the dossier and warning of disinformation. That is my cat, not yours, if you are wondering, because I know when my cat starts, many people think it's their cat. Unless you don't have a cat, and then that would be really confusing to you. But anyway, that is Sammy, because I have been sitting here talking to you guys instead of paying attention to him. But he is absolutely fine. He has lots of food and water and lots of toys to play with. And he's got his buddy Xander, who's just taken his pain medicine and is a little out of it. But still. Okay. I digress. A sad, sad, mournful meow. Sammy. Could be his litter box. He does not like it if there's anything in the litter box. Okay. Hang on. I don't think this is a big shock to anyone. Crossfire Hurricane team was going to move forward with their unlawful FISA abuse regardless whether they knew Steele's dossier was full of disinfo or not. Public will learn the truth. The House will, of course, investigate Barr and Durham and disparage their character and call them liars. POTUS has already ordered the D-class, and Barr will declassify when the time is perfect, setting the trap for the Dems and showing the public the fake news cannot be trusted anymore. As patriots, we already know this, but we are in the midst of a public awakening, defeating their attempt to take down the economy, and the administration with CV nearly defeated it by the end of the month, and will continue forward, taking the hunt to the hunters. And let's move on now to this, and this is drop 3933. Multiple DC grand jury subpoenas have been issued on behalf of U.S. Attorney John Durham. Now, if that's not good news, I don't know what is. And he has linked to this, Gregor's, and from Twitter, and he says, even though we all expected it, John Solomon just confirmed seconds ago on Sean Hannity's radio show that multiple DC grand jury subpoenas have been issued on behalf of U.S. Attorney John Durham. All right, so we did hear news on 4/10/20, even though right now you're hearing it on 4/11/20, not Good Friday, but awful Saturday. I don't know I don't know where that came from. It just popped into my head. But I guess, Jesus was crucified on Friday, which is good news because we know that he rose again. But Saturday, I guess if you lived in Jesus' day and you were a follower of his, Saturday would have been pretty awful. Yeah, seriously. I think that really, if you were a follower of Jesus and he was crucified, and the next day would be an awful day. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe that's just explaining my silliness away. I don't know. All right, so that is good news. And Lisa Mae Crowley says, did QC K155MYA55 asking for sauce regarding John Solomon reports, telling Sean Hannity there have been many Durham subpoenas issued and one went before grand jury in DC. Q just confirmed via Gregor's for USA's tweet, always good to ask for source. And Dio Presser Lieber says, keep your expectations grounded. These things take time. Grand jury subpoenas take time. Could be fast, but don't expect immediate gratification. And now we are on to the last post, which brings us completely up to date with Q, unless he's been posting while I've been speaking, which wouldn't surprise me. But we'll take a look. As soon as I'm finished this, we'll take a look to make sure that we are up to date with his posts. And again, from April 10th, Good Friday, indictment tracking placeholders. And he's got placeholder indictments tracking non-civilian set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then placeholder indictments tracking civilian, placeholder acts of treasons plus support articles, placeholder foreign acts. I guess that's public or publication, must be publication. Placeholder FISA or public, it could be public, not sure. But let's take a look at what Lisa Mae Crowley says here. With news of Durham subpoenas, grand juries, D-class footnotes showing they knew Steele dossier was disinfo, Barr interview with Ingram last 2 nights promising prosecution of perpetrators, can't help but hope the time to fill in some placeholders is soon. Well, we can only hope. When I saw the placeholder drop with 6 blank lines and saw non-civilian, being a military vet, I assumed it meant military. Clapper and Hayden immediately came to mind, but perhaps it means 6 corporations that own mainstream media. Aurora Voyager 1 reminds us that President Lincoln and had media enemies too. He had to draw a line between dissent and treason, and he did it in a way favorable to his administration and the pursuit of squashing the rebellion. And let's come down here, and we have this. Abraham Lincoln, like Donald Trump, had his media enemies too. And that is by David Blanchett, correspondent. When President Donald Trump recently referred to his battles with the press by saying that Abraham Lincoln and many of our greatest presidents fought with the media, he wasn't making fake news. Now, let's take a look at what Dio Presser Lieber on Q2 on Twitter says. First set of indictments are the FISA abuse indictments. 6 are coming. FISA equals start. Non-civilian means criminal indictments. Q telling us to keep a list. Track who is being indicted. First set about to be revealed, possibly. Non-civilian equals non-civil lawsuit indictments. In other words, some indictments arise out of DOJ civil lawsuits and others out of criminal prosecution. I don't think the post 6+ from 2 days ago points to the post that just dropped. It could be, but 6+ implying more than 6, and Q specifically lists 6. I still think it was a reference to Soros, as do I. So that is it. That brings us completely up to date with the Q posts, unless he's posted something in the meantime. Let's go take a look. Why not? Nope, we are completely up to date. Let me reload this and make sure. Yep, we're up to date. Woohoo! Now, I did have another video prepared tonight that I was going to bring, but of course, I think that this was more important, so I went with this. But hopefully, if the news that I was going to cover is still news, I will bring that to you tomorrow. At any rate, I don't see why I wouldn't be posting tomorrow at this point. So I will see you then. See you in the next video. Now, you guys stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and keep seeking truth, because deception, oh, it surely does bite right in the hinder parts. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for all your support, for your prayers, your encouragement, and your helpful comments. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Good night.